friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we are going to have our discussion on the upcoming transit of Rahu and Ketu. So friends, as you know this thing that Rahu and Ketu stays in one zodiac sign for close to 18 months of time. And that time has come when they are going to be changing signs. So Rahu is going to be entering the sign of Aries and Ketu is going to be entering the sign of Libra. And friends, like I have already made a couple of videos on this transit, the generalized results, the customized results for all the ascendants. So in this video, we will only be focusing on that if Rahu is going to be transiting over your natal planets, what kind of results you can expect. And definitely friends, this transit is going to become more important for you if either you're going through the Mahadasha or the Antardasha of Rahu or the Lord of Aries, which is Mars, or the planet which is placed in your natal chart in the Aries sign. So even if you're going through the Mahadasha or Antardasha of any of these planets, so trust me, some new door of opportunities, some new experiences are awaiting for you. So now friends, we will straight away take our discussion to the point where I will start explaining you that basis any planet represents in the Aries sign and Rahu coming over it, what kind of results we can expect. So friends, to begin with the sun. So let's say for example, if in your natal chart you have sun to be placed in the Aries sign, so that means you have an exalted sun in your chart. So you definitely must be experiencing all the results of a dignified sun in your chart, like strong morals, ethics, confidence, dynamism, leadership qualities, support of the father. Now friends, let's say for example, the moment Rahu is going to be transiting over your natal sun. So this event can be seen as good in this regard, and it becomes more important for all those people who belong to the show business, where you need that sort of curiosity around your name. Whether you work in advertising, in media, in politics, or in any way, dealing with the mass media or the masses is an integral part of your nature of work. So definitely friends, you can get benefited. Friends, try to understand this thing that Rahu's nature is all about materialism and expansiveness, and in any case, having an exalted sun in your chart is a very good sign. And beyond doubt, if this exalted sun is placed in the ascendant, in the 10th house, in the 11th house, in the 5th house, in the 9th house, so definitely whether we talk about support of the luck, your intelligence, getting the support from the government and all the important prominent people connected with government always helping you. But with this transit of Rahu over your natal sun, it is definitely going to create that sense of curiosity around you, where everyone is interested what is happening in your life, what are you up to, and these things becomes very important for all those people who are in the show business. So I would say friends that definitely this window of opportunity is very much ripe for you. It all comes down to whether you are going to encash on this opportunity or not. And friends, try to understand this thing. Rahu transiting over your exalted natal sun just means that the prospects of recognition and your visibility right now is very strong. So it all comes down to what kind of nature of deeds you are performing. So let's say for example, if your deeds are questionable, you might get known or recognized but for wrong reasons. And if your deeds are very ethical, so you might be known, recognized or appreciated for right set of reasons. So it all comes down to that. But definitely friends, in terms of your name, your prestige getting enhanced, and for all those people who are awaiting some sort of promotion, some sort of immigration status or political seat or power, this transit of Rahu over your exalted sun can be seen as a very good news. Moving ahead friends, now let's say for example, if your moon is placed in the Aries sign in your natal chart. So friends, try to understand this thing that when we talk about Aries is a sign which represents action first and think later. So when we talk about the Aries quality, it has everything to do with your mind, because your moon is placed over here. Your emotions, your feelings are very quick, could be very impulsive, could be very little bit kind of judgmental as well. And the moment Rahu is going to be coming over your natal moon, so on a emotional front, this could be little bit restless energy. So proper attention given to your mental health becomes very important during this time. Otherwise, insecurities, phobias, fears, reckless, impulsive actions, fear, unknown fear or phobias troubling you, all these problems can also stir up during this time when Rahu is going to be transiting over your natal moon. But friends, this can only work in your favor if your line of work involves some sort of quick decision making, whether you are working as a cop, a firefighter, you are working as a stockbroker, anything to do with research, anything to do with exploration. So then in those kind of cases you can actually get benefited. But when we talk about, see, material success is one thing, professional success, if in your line of work, nature of work, the qualities of Rahu, of research, inventiveness, innovativeness, exploration, foreign influence is required, that is one thing. But here I'm just talking about from the perspective of your peace and calm state of the mind. So that is the one area where you have to work. And let's say, for example, if your moon being Aries is placed in the 8th house, it is already conjunct with Saturn, Mars. So then in those kind of circumstances, the restlessness could get more intense. So these are the few areas you have to work on. But yes, on emotional plane, this could be little bit vulnerable time for all those people who have their natal moon to be placed in the Aries sign. Moving ahead, friends, now let's say, for example, if in your natal chart your Mars is placed in the Aries sign and Rahu is coming over it, so definitely friends, you are definitely going to be on the edge during this time, because Aries Mars is all about energy, about dynamism, about good leadership style, fearlessness, and the influence of Rahu coming over your natal Mars is definitely going to make you more fearless, more adventurous, more risk taking. So it all comes down to in which direction you are going to make your efforts go towards. Like if you are a kind of person who is always in control, in command of the situation, you are a kind of person who never surrender to the whims or to the impulses, then definitely this transit of Rahu over your natal Mars, because Mars also has to do with the logics, with the problem solving skills, with your drive, with your confidence. So a added touch or influence of Rahu over there can actually help and support, make you more strategic, make you more fearless in the face of any conflict, in the face of any disputed situation. But let's say, for example, if other planets are not supporting your natal planetary placement and you're a kind of person who is always rash, who is always like very impulsive, very unpredictable, then with this kind of transit influence of Rahu over your natal Mars can actually explode the qualities of this combination. So vulnerability on the account of accidents, or threats on the account of handling with the weapons or sharp edged tools, or creating stirring up enmity within your friend circle, within your line of work where you are working. So it all comes down to in which direction or which way you are going to make use of this energy. Also friends, like Mars in itself represents brotherhood. So friends, when we talk about the influence of Rahu coming over your natal Mars, so it also becomes very important that when we talk about the people you hang out with, whether it's your siblings, whether it's your friends, whether it's your colleagues, it becomes very important that you should not be very quick to be coming to any conclusion while making any important assessment within your friend circle, within your circle of influence. Moving ahead friends, now let's say for example, if you're going to have Mercury in your natal chart in the Aries sign and Rahu is coming over it. So friends, when we talk about influence of Rahu on the natal Mercury, this is generally considered as a very good sign, because all the qualities of Rahu find resonance with the qualities of Mercury. But try to understand this thing, if your natal Mercury is placed in the Aries itself, it is not a very good placement, because Mercury is all about discriminatory intelligence, and again Aries is about taking action first and thinking later. So this could make someone's thinking process very impulsive, very judgmental, very quick, very triggered. Again, it can work in your favor if your line of work requires that kind of quick decision making. You are a stand-up comedian, you are a doctor, you are a stockbroker, you are a firefighter, you are an athlete, you are a cop, then it can help and work in your favor. And the transit of Rahu coming over your natal Mercury can actually work in your favor, that definitely it can give you some out of the box way of thinking. And if in your line of work, communication, self-expression, quick decision making is involved, so Rahu is definitely going to accentuate or increase all those quickness or quick wit or quick decision making or spontaneity in your judgment, in your decision making, in your communication style. So from that regard, this placement or this transit of Rahu over your natal Mercury can be seen as a good sign. But again friends, I would say the same thing, that with this kind of combination, because Mercury, in the, whether we talk about Aries, whether we talk about Cancer, is always a little bit kind of vulnerable energy. So if in your line of work or basis your personality, like dishonesty, lying, treachery is involved, so trust me, you have to remain very cautious, because Rahu is definitely going to tempt you to go overboard in all these unethical acts, and later on can land you in trouble. So you have to remain very cautious, that your judgment, your decision making should be used for the good reasons, not to cause harm to others in a way, later on causing the same thing happening back to you. Moving ahead friends, now let's say for example, if in your natal chart you have a Aries Jupiter and Rahu is going to be transiting over it, so definitely friends, it can be seen as a very good sign. As you know, this thing that Jupiter in itself represents wisdom, it represents philosophy, and being placed in the sign of its good friend Mars, it is definitely going to accentuate and bring out all the best of the Jupiterian qualities only. And Jupiter's sign also tells about the way you pursue knowledge, the way you spread the knowledge. So this could make you a defender of the truth, defender of the religion, of the righteousness, strong qualities of generosity, optimism, helping other people, strong ethics, morals, values, being very disciplined. So all these qualities are there in the way Jupiter's energies function in your life. And the transit of Rahu over your natal Jupiter is definitely going to accentuate or increase the benefic or the good side of Jupiterian qualities only. The only thing over here is that this could at times make you more realistic, more practical, because many times what happens is that a strong Jupiter also comes in the way that it sometimes makes someone very idealistic rather than making someone very practical, very materialistic or realistic in today's day and age. So definitely friends, the transit or the influence of Rahu over your Jupiter is definitely going to make you very smart enough and could also bestow some sort of opportunities as well. And it becomes more important if Jupiter is definitely going to have some important say or rulership of some important houses in your chart. If Jupiter has a say, being either present in the 10th house or being a ruler of the 10th house, so definitely new opportunities, new source of knowledge. During this time you might be more interested towards foreign philosophy, foreign teaching, foreign languages, or all those mentors, advisors might come in your life. So for expansion, new opportunities, new door, new source of knowledge and wisdom, this transit of Rahu over your natal Jupiter can be seen as a very good sign. Moving ahead friends, now let's say for example, if your Venus is placed in the Aries sign in your natal chart. So now friends, try to understand this thing, that when we talk about Aries Venus, it is more about the concern for the self, because the true nectar of the Venusian quality is unconditional love, generosity, compassion. But when it gets placed over here in the Aries sign, it just gives more attention towards the self. So now what is going to be happening over here is that this transit of Rahu over your natal Venus might increase all these qualities as well. You know, all those people who are going to spend more money in how they look, about the their look, their public image, their appearance, spending more money on the beauty products. Now this is definitely going to become a blessing in disguise for all those people who are in any way. You are in fashion business, you are a model, you are an actor, or anything to do where your public image, your relationship with the masses becomes very important or plays a very pivotal role. But definitely friends, in the form of the way you behave or deal in relationship, so you are definitely going to put your needs or yourself first on the forefront, because this is what the Rahu's energy is all about. And definitely friends, all the Venus in qualities are going to accentuate. Like for example, if you work in any luxury business or anything to do with dealing in the beauty products or cosmetic products, so definitely some financial gain can happen with this transit of Rahu over your natal Venus. The only thing is that the concern for the self or putting your needs first, so those are the some of the areas where you have to work on. So I will summarize. In the form of your human relationship with other people, there it could make you little bit putting your own needs first. But when we talk about the charm, magnetism, allure in your personality getting enhanced, people are more interested in your life, in your appearance, in your like getting more and more compliments and encashing and gaining out of your public image and appearance. This transit of Rahu over your natal Venus can be seen as a very good news. Moving ahead friends, now let's say for example, if in your natal chart you have a Aries Saturn over there and Rahu is going to be transiting over it. So definitely friends, Rahu is going to be transiting over a debilitated Saturn. But friends, when we talk about from Saturn's perspective, like never ever be so quick to come to any conclusion. See, Saturn stays in one zodiac sign for 2.5 years of time. So that doesn't mean that all those people who are born in that phase when Saturn was debilitated in transit, they all have got a bad luck. It's not like that. You have to see its overall dignity in the chart, like specifically how is Saturn's placement in your D9 chart. You might have a debilitated Saturn, but your Saturn might be placed in the third pada of the Bharani Nakshatra, like from 20 to 23 degree 20 minutes section of the Aries zodiac sign, which is the Libra Navamsa pada. So your Saturn is exalted in the D9 chart. So it all comes down to looking at the overall dignity of the Saturn in your chart. But now friends, definitely Rahu's transit over a weak Saturn could be a matter of concern in this way that first of all, your ethics, your morals, your convictions, the sense and degree of discipline is going to get tested during this time. So let's say for example, if you are a kind of person who is always inclined towards daydreaming, you are a lazy person, you do not work hard, or in your line of work there is a lot of treachery, dishonesty, lying is involved. So trust me, Rahu is going to increase all those temptations, might lure you towards something which is not good for you, and later on the punishment might come from Saturn. So these are the few areas where you have to remain very cautious. Definitely friends, your Saturn in the Lagan chart is weak, and Rahu's transit over here can create all those energy of things not getting well suddenly with your teammates, with the bosses, with the authority figure in your line of work. You are looking forward to taking some shortcuts or some sort of people tempting you towards some Ponzi scheme and all of that. So you have to remain a bit cautious in the way you execute your daily duties at work front. This transit can only prove to be a blessing in disguise for all those people in whose case, like the way I already mentioned this thing, Saturn is dignified in the D9 chart, and in your line of work, working in any sort of research, all those people who are working in the fields of DNA, forensics or research or exploration, if that is getting qualified in your case, so the transit of Rahu over your Saturn can actually bring some foreign influence. Success in any sort of research work, in exploration, can be foreseen as one of the good and the vulnerable aspect of this transit of Rahu over your natal Saturn. Moving ahead friends, now let's say for example, if in your case you are a Aries Rahu person and Rahu is coming over its natal placement, it's like a Rahu return which is going to take place. So definitely friends, this is going to be a very lifetime event when some new chapter is bound to open in your life. And again friends, it also comes down to which kind of dashas you are going through, what is your your ascendant. Because for example, if you are going to have a Rahu return, so either you could be of 18 years of age, you could be 36 years of age. So now friends, let's say for example, this is also the same time when Saturn also matures. So you're going to have your Rahu return, Saturn is also maturing, you're also going through the dasha of either of the planet, like you're going through the Antardasha of Rahu or the Mahadasha of Mars, and you are actually on a crossroad of some new change or important decision. So I would say that definitely open the change or new chapter of life with open arms, because this is definitely going to be some new chapter, new beginning in your life which is bound to happen. Because Rahu and Ketu generally comes back to their original placement after 18 years. So whatsoever they wanted to give you experience of the life, they have completed that cycle, and it is definitely going to become more important if your moon nakshatra is of Rahu, your moon nakshatra is of Ketu, all the planets are in the axis of Rahu and Ketu, you have a Kal Sab Yoga in your chart. So in whichsoever way, if your dashas are also running promising and you are actually very much looking forward to some new beginning or transformation in your life, so this transit of Rahu over your natal Rahu can create those new opportunity. And friends, try to understand this thing, like Rahu in the Aries has everything to do with the identity, Aries has everything to do with the actions and new beginnings. So whatsoever change is going to take place, it can completely change your outlook towards the world, or it can completely change your personality or your identity in the world, in the society as well. And definitely friends, your degree and sense of fearlessness, of ambition, of a very innovative new way of looking at the world is going to be very strong, is going to be very intense. And all these things which I mentioned, they are going to become more strong if your Aries Lord Mars is also strong in your chart. So then look forward to some new beginnings in your life which is going to be very harmonious for you. Moving ahead friends, now let's say for example, if in your natal chart you have a Aries Ketu and Rahu is coming over it. So friends, as you know this thing that Ketu in itself is all about spirituality. Aries Ketu is like a spiritual warrior who could be very perfectionist, who could be very disciplined, but at the same time with Aries Ketu there is always this fear that native might be neglectful of himself and more inclined towards the public approval, because wheresoever Rahu is placed, native's whole inclination or focus goes in that area. And friends, the transit of Rahu coming over your natal Ketu's placement can actually create the situations and circumstances of misunderstandings as well. And let's say for example, if right now Ketu is activated in your natal chart, because friends, whatsoever happen in our life in the form of your decision making or you initiating something, a lot of that has to do with our natal placement and with our ongoing dasha. The transiting planets just create the outer circumstances. So the point which I'm trying to make over here is that you might want to go in one direction and the transit of planets might try to push you and create opportunity in some opposite direction. So these kind of confusion or turmoil related situation can erupt. So I would just say this thing that whatsoever decision you want to take it with proper contemplation, take the expert opinion of other people and take into consideration what kind of dashas or mahadashas you are going through, what is the dignity of Mars in your natal chart. So that is definitely going to give us this hint that in which area you are going to find some breakthrough. But friends, in general, if I were to say, this is going to be a time period where definitely friends, I do not have much positive to add over here, apart from one thing that yes, there could be a little bit of the confusion, and try to remain very much open towards the opinion of other people and remain very much in a surrender mode, because as you know that there is no or nothing which we can do in the face of the behavior and the functioning of Ketu, because Ketu just demands complete 100% surrender only. So just remain in that mode, and if you are going through the heat of the Ketu in the form of Ketu is currently activated and there is that sense of detachment, you're not getting the kind of results which you are anticipating, so then the worship of the Lord Ganesha, worship of the Lord Kal Bhairava, or considering wearing a cat's eye gemstone could be considered in order to get the best result out of this transit of Rahu over your natal Ketu. So that is something, friends, which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs for this upcoming transit movements over your natal planets. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.